Welcome to MudTalks, everybody. Today we have Josh Carmona on the show. Josh, before we start, I want you to tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, let's do a little cheers here.
Yeah, I like it.
Appreciate you for having me on.
Man, I appreciate you being here with the limited time you have here, man.
Yeah, man. So, Josh Carmona, man, I grew up, born and raised in Toledo. You know, I started up on the south end, so very familiar with the, Anthony Wayne Trail over there. Junior high, went to East Toledo Junior High, and from there went to weight, and I was a wrestler, for 6 years from junior high, and wrestling really changed my life, man. It was it made me who I am today. It gave me that base, that platform, that foundation.
Okay.
To build who I am today, and so I'm super blessed for all the support that I had during that time. And then after that, I went from weight, and I got a scholarship to Ohio State. So spent 4 years there, and then did a victory lap and came back around and did a fifth year there to try to solidify a spot at grad school. I actually didn't get into grad school. I applied to like 10 different colleges throughout the country. Got passed up on all 10 of them.
Okay.
So had to make a decision on whether, do I go back to school and try to chase that goal down, or just kind of move on and try something else. And right around that same time where I figured that it wasn't going to work out for the grad school, it was I got into where I'm at now, which is Nationwide, who is a Columbus-based company.
Okay.
And so I was super pumped with that, and started out at the bank there, and went from the bank. I stayed there, and I was just like basically a bank teller over the phone, because they had a digital bank is what they call it.
Nice.
So no brick or mortar. It was just all over the phone, and good interest rates. It was a good company to work for. So spent a year there.
Okay.
And a buddy of mine from college ended up moving to Arizona, and I was like, I'll be there in a year. And
Nice.
I set a goal to kind of just get out of Ohio and try something new, and I found a job in claims support at Nationwide out there in Arizona, and spent a year and a half in that position, and then was blessed enough to find an underwriting position throughout the same company, and just kind of worked my way up. And now I underwrite insurance for they call it excess and surplus.
Okay.
So it's the things that are outside the normal realm of insurance. Like, we do a lot of long haul truckers. Like, there's a lot of liability aspect in the things that we do, right?
Okay.
It's not just like homeowners. It's not like car insurance. It's the things that are kind of, they call it the cream of the crap, right? So so it's basically the things that nobody else want, but they're still good businesses. There's still good profitability in that aspect. You just gotta underwrite it a little bit different way. It's not something that you can underwrite with an algorithm, with a computer.
So is it like every situation is a little bit different, so you have to work a little bit differently on each one?
Yeah, you definitely got to dig in a little bit more different. Like, you can't just ask 10 questions and get one answer back from it. So it's different, and I'm blessed because I'm a learner.
Yeah.
I love to learn, and this job has given me the opportunity to find something new every day.
Nice.
And so
that's very nice.
I've been doing that for 3 years now.
Okay.
Love it. And I'm going to continue to grow. And yeah.
How long have you been out in Arizona now?
So I moved out February of 2015.
Been out there for a while now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So a little over 5 years now.
Okay.
And
nice.
Honestly, it's been, from a growth standpoint, for me, it's been the best decision that I could have made.
Good. Good. Yeah. You get outside and you learn a little bit more about yourself, especially you went out there by yourself, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's a scary world out there, man. So you go out there by yourself, you have to learn.
Yeah.
There's no other way. Like, you learn or you fail completely.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. And it was one of those things where I literally, like, I didn't have much because I was living with a couple, and they had the furniture and everything. Basically, all I owned was my bed and a dresser. And so I was
starting over.
Yeah.
Reborn.
I was able to just pack all my clothes in my little Dodge Dart, pick everything up, and drive out there. It took me 2 days to drive out there, and again, I was blessed to have a buddy of mine who, like, let me sleep on his futon for 2 months. And
Nice. Yeah.
you know, when you have people like that can just
support
you.
That's a tremendous help. And sometimes we need it. We can't just jump somewhere and take off running. Sometimes we need a little bit of time to adjust to a completely new lifestyle, a completely new everything. Everything is different there. The weather, everything.
Yeah.
Like it's just even adjusting to that. It has to be a whole new experience. There's different animals out there.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother world. It's
Yeah,
just you're in a
yeah.
completely different place than what you've been in your whole life.
Yeah.
So I can imagine that being scary
You
at
mean
first.
you see coyotes running across the street?
Yeah, that's not normal, man. You know, one thing that I didn't realize that we don't have up here are like lizards, because when I came from Florida, like lizards are everywhere. And it took me a really long time to realize that there weren't any lizards, like not like how you see them down there all over the place.
Yeah.
Until I went back to Florida just for a vacation to see my sister, and there were lizards everywhere, and I was like, you know what? Now that I think about it, there's no lizards. Just something that little that I just never noticed, just a little aspect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
It's awesome down there, man. It's hot right now. It's 110 degrees plus every day right now.
That's rough.
So it's brutal.
Yeah.
But only for 4 months.
Okay.
The last 8, it's gorgeous all year round.
Yeah?
Man. It's like it's unbelievable.
Nice.
Unbelievable.
Nice.
Barely rains, but never snows. But you know, you can't. You know, here it's too cold during Thanksgiving, right? And our Thanksgiving, like I could sit out on my patio and have Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, nice.
You know,
yeah.
Like it's just
You're not doing that here.
Yeah, it's just a
It's not gonna
different.
happen.
It's just a different world.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's not better or worse. It's just different.
Yeah, it gives you a different perspective.
Absolutely.
So, but now you have some properties here in Toledo, right?
Yeah.
So how did that come about? How did that even start?
Yeah, I started reading a lot once I got out there. I was in a place in my life where I was like, I need to make a change, man. Like I need to start looking forward in my future and really figuring this out. So I started reading a couple different books and really got into that mindset of like lowering my liabilities and increasing my assets. And
Ooh, that's a good conversation right there.
right?
That's a really good conversation right there.
Yeah,
That's,
and that was important for me.
Yeah.
And that was really important for me, especially really not before reading these books. I really wasn't like, I didn't know what an asset was, right?
Exactly.
Or a depreciating asset or appreciating asset, right?
Yeah.
And so this really helped me like kind of get through that. And out in Toledo, the reason I started in Toledo is because it was more affordable for me to start buying properties in Toledo.
Yeah.
And so I saved my pennies, man.
Yeah.
I was making, you know, a minimum amount of money, and I just saved and until I made about $8,000 or $10,000. And here's what I'll say. I always had a plan to buy a duplex, right? That was my thing. I was going to buy a duplex. I was going to live in one side and rent the other side out. And that way I'd lower my liabilities, lower my mortgage or my rent, and increase my assets at the same time. That was my whole thought process. So I was like, let me just do that. Let me try to do that starting in Toledo and go from there. And I was just saving my pennies. Eventually I'm going to get $10,000. I can pay, you do a down payment for a house. And when you work hard at something and you really focus at something, I truly believe like the universe just gets out of your way. Like it opens just once I got to, my goal was to get to 10,000. I got to 8,500 and I was presented with an opportunity to buy properties here. And I took it. And that's what I'm saying. Like that opportunity wouldn't have happened had I not started saving already.
Yeah.
Right. And then I wouldn't have been able to take advantage of it if I hadn't started saving already.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things where like, just go for it. Just shoot for it and see what happens.
Yeah. I always have mixed feelings about that. The universe opens up for you.
Yeah.
Conversation.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's kind of true, but also it's because you focused on what you needed to focus on. If you don't focus on it, it's not going to happen. Right. If you're scattered all over the place and you one day I want to do this, but I'm busy doing this, that those opportunities aren't going to present itself as openly as if you're dedicated to looking at that and your ambition and drive is that way, and you're looking at everything that entails. then you tend to find those things, and those opportunities present themselves because you're doing that.
Exactly.
Well,
so isn't that the universe?
Yeah, that it is.
You know?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you right. You got it. You got it. But you got to put in the work too.
Absolutely.
You got to put in the work for it,
Absolutely.
and you were prepared. So when the universe does open up for you, you have to be prepared to take advantage of that moment.
Exactly.
So that's good. So the opportunity presented itself.
Mhm.
Was it a duplex?
Well, it was multiple properties. There was a list of properties that I got the opportunity to purchase.
Okay.
I ended up going with a single family home.
Okay.
And I actually used a credit card. I used a credit card to purchase this house, and
Use a credit card to buy a house?
I used a credit card to purchase a house, and that credit card is paid off, paid in full. And the tenant, I bought the house with the tenant in it already, who was paying rent. And so by that time that tenant moved out, that house was already paid for.
Oh wow!
So I own that house free and clear. It's under my LLC.
Very nice.
Yeah, and
very nice. That's a great opportunity.
Excellent opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, it's there. If you're prepared for it, it's there.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not saying that, it's been roses the whole time, you know. There's been some struggles, and I'm working through them, and I'm growing as a first-time business owner and a first-time homeowner basically.
Yeah.
And I'm learning all these different things, and it's been a growing experience, but like that's how you grow. You struggle through it. You don't have all the answers before you do it.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people that are willing to take the risk and
Good.
and see what happens.
Nobody knows anything until they do it. That's the thing. It's like, oh my God, look at that dude so successful doing that. It's like he didn't know anything about it when he started. Like there's no way. You have to take those risks, and you have to learn, and you're gonna hit your head a bunch of times. Like that's part of the process. And you're gonna do some stuff wrong.
Yeah.
And as long as you learn from it, the next time you do it better and better and so forth to where you get to where you want to be at. But you start off with like just reading and trying to get as much information, asking friends, like, should I? But if you can get over that fear and you're willing to take that risk, because everything has a risk.
Yeah.
There's nothing that you can just do that's like 100% guaranteed.
Yeah.
There's risk with everything. If you're willing to take the risk, though, you can see some very positive effects out of that. But if you don't take the risk, you're not going to see anything. You're going to be stuck right where you're at. You're not going to grow at all. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
After you got the first one, and it was paid off. Man, first of all, that's incredible right there. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What was it the price that made you want to come back to Toledo?
Yeah, it was realistically, again, it was one of those things where I could have bought one. I could have took that $10,000 and put a down payment on a house out in Phoenix, but I would have been in debt, $200,000 out there. Like that was
the opportunity is not the same.
Yeah, it's just not, it's just different. So like I could have made it work out there, but it would have been more stressful for me. And I figured if I start out small and I can grow into this, then let's see where this goes.
Great.
And if I lose on it, then I'm not out 200,000. I'm out, 1,200.
Yeah.
Or 12,000.
Yeah.
Whatever. And so, I made the best decision for me at that particular time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And somehow, some way, it worked out, and it's continuing to work out somehow, and I just feel blessed.
Toledo is like one of the top 10 cheapest cities in the United States, like for everything. I love it. I love it for the fact that it's growing, so that we have some of these things, more of a major city feel. But the price points for what you earn to what you spend ratio is phenomenal. And even for people who don't want to do much here, even to save your money here is great. Like it's great for that. Cost of living, I've always loved about Toledo. After you got the first one, did you have to do work on the house? Did you have to do any repairs? There was somebody living there. Did they call you and say, my furnace is broken? Like what happened with that?
Yeah. So for the first year, it was pretty steady. The person that was in there stayed there for longer than I expected. And so I didn't really have any repairs or anything to do with that. And so
that's good.
I was cool with that. And as I was going on, I was presented with another opportunity to buy another house again on the South End for a similar price. And that one I had to basically flip 100%. Like I put new floors, new paint, new furnace, new gas meter, new electric. Like it was
you had to do it, redo.
I had to restart everything, right? So I paid for that one cash, but I also had to put in a lot of
invest
work into it as well. I basically the amount of money that I paid for it was the same amount of money that I had to
reinvest into it.
Invest into it. And so, but that one is solid property now, right? Like I shouldn't have to do anything to that property for a long time. And I got a tenant in there now, and everything's working out so far. The first property, I have a tenant in there now, but there's still some work to be done. I need to make it a better, because I'm not looking to quote unquote be like a slumlord or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm looking to build these properties.
Build a nice house.
Yeah.
And then have people live in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm looking for them to be happy and at an affordable price in a decent neighborhood. Okay. And that's all
good.
I'm looking for.
That's awesome.
It's not, when you go into something like this with the idea of like you're helping yourself and you're helping others, that's
an amazing feeling.
That's just the best. That's the best of both worlds, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't need to live off of these properties, but the fact that I'm giving back to the community that gave me so much and built me who I am today, it is the best feeling in the world.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. And taking a property that you had to invest so much into, as much as you purchased a home for, investing into it, it gets it's costly to fix a house. That you start noticing all the details that come into a house. It's most people just see the walls and say, no, there's so much electrical, plumbing, the furnace. The furnace is the big one. Everything that goes into it. It gets costly just for one of those things, let alone all of them.
Yeah.
But that also revitalizes the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Like you putting a nice house there, putting just a fresh coat of paint, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And that helps the community out big time. Even the houses around it. So that's awesome. That's a great contribution, I should say.
Yeah. And it's amazing because the second house that I bought, it's a very homey neighborhood, so everybody kind of knows everybody in that neighborhood, and so when I was going in there and fixing it up, everybody was like super pumped for me. They were like, thank you so much. And like a lot of people were like, if you're renting this out, let me know. I want to be one of the first applicants. And
nice.
So
that's a great feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They seen that I was going in here, and as a young professional, they seen that I was coming in here and hustling. I wasn't just like I did have other people help me work, but I was also in there laying the floor, and I was I was there doing a lot of the work.
Yeah.
And
a whole house, you need the team, because otherwise you're going to take a long time. I mean, you could probably do the work, but it's going to take you a long time. Yeah. It's better to have more people on hand to work with that.
Exactly.
And I'm sure the community appreciated that, because when you have like that one house in your neighborhood that nobody lives in and it's just falling apart, I mean, it depreciates, and you just get a vibe from that general vicinity.
Yeah.
So when you see somebody come in and fix it, I mean, that's great for the community. I'm sure they were excited.
It was one of those houses where if somebody didn't come in soon, it would have just got bulldozed.
Oh yeah.
It would have just
there would last legs. And,
It's all of the houses in Ohio they're from the 1800s. They're
old.
They're older houses, right? And so it's you gotta maintain them. They'll last forever if you maintain them.
Yeah.
Because of the way they built things.
Oh, they built them to last. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But a lot of them need a little bit of help now.
For sure.
Are you at 2 properties right now?
No, so I have the 2 single families, and then I bought a duplex shortly after that.
Nice, you got the duplex.
Yeah, I did end up getting the duplex, and that one's a work in progress still. That's kind of my baby, I guess, because obviously that's what I was shooting for.
Yeah.
At first, and so we're still working on that, but I've always had a tenant in it.
Okay.
So I can't go in there and just like revitalize everything all at once, but again, I'm not trying to be like a slumlord or anything like that. I'm very, especially with COVID, when COVID hit, like I was very understanding with everybody's situation and whatnot, and me not having like a huge mortgage on any of the properties that I own, I was able to afloat a lot of their situation.
Nice.
And
very nice.
And so that gives me like a little bit of pride and able to kind of
that's
give
a
back
good
to
feeling.
the community.
Yeah, way to help. Absolutely. Especially now. Everybody's kind of going through it right now. So any help is greatly appreciated.
Yeah, you just got to be understanding of everyone's situation. Yeah. We're all in this together. We're all trying to figure this out as a team, and whether it may not seem like it now with the atmosphere that we're in, but if you just take a step back and just realize, like, we're all going through this.
Yeah.
Everybody has to wear a mask. Everybody has to, be careful on who they talk to and the distance they associate with people and whatnot. And like
Everything.
it's a different world right now. We're gonna get through it. And we're gonna learn through it together, and that's all you can ask for, man.
How does it feel when you come back to Toledo? Because now you're Phoenix. I mean, do you visit often? Like, how often do you travel back and forth?
Yeah, so before COVID, I was coming back twice, maybe 3 times a year.
Okay.
And I'll stay for like a week or maybe at least a weekend. I love seeing my friends, man. I have really, and I go back to Columbus because I have really good friends back in Columbus, and I have really close friends here, and we'll probably get into this a little later on, but I did a large bike ride from Columbus to Toledo.
Yeah, we're going to get into it in a little bit. Yeah.
So I had the support that I had from my friends and my family throughout that whole trip, and still now has just been amazing, man. So I always love to, like, just show appreciation to them, and it's hard to explain, man. I deep down appreciate everybody that's giving me their support on these crazy tactics and antics that I tend to do. So yeah.
Some feelings are hard to put into words.
Yeah,
I feel good, great, positive, but it's hard to exactly describe the feeling. But I've seen the support and what you did. We're gonna jump into that now.
Yeah.
So the bike ride was from Columbus all the way here. Is how many miles is that? Was that 140?
Yeah. So it was 140.
140 miles.
140 miles. Back roads of Ohio.
I'm tired just hearing 140 miles, man.
Yeah.
That's insane. I did 4 miles the other day. My thighs hurt. I went around Pearson Park, man. I got out of it. I was like, oh, that was good. You're talking 140 here.
140 miles, man.
What was the purpose, first of all, behind that?
Yeah. So in 2018, my mother passed away from cancer. And again, amazing support from my friends and family to get me through that rough time. And I knew I wanted to do something to give back to the community. So there's this nonprofit organization called Pelotonia, and they 100% of the proceeds from my ride. So I basically pledged $3,000 to raise $3,000 for cancer research. 100% of that went straight to cancer research. And the good thing about that, so it's kind of twofold, right? Giving back to cancer research in the name of my mother, and then also the funds went to the Ohio State Cancer Research Center.
Oh, okay,
in
nice.
Columbus.
Yeah.
And so that's my alma mater, and that, I'm an alumni of Ohio State, so I wanted to give back to them.
Yeah, that's
I
perfect.
wanted to give back to cancer research, and I wanted to do something in the name of my mother. And so it was an emotional thing to do, right?
Yeah.
And just to have the support from everybody was just amazing. So originally the event is, you can do different things. You can do a 25 miler, a 50 miler, a 100 miler, or a 200 miler.
Okay.
So me being me, I'm like, I got to go big or go home, man.
Yeah.
Let's do 200 miles.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And the event is 100 miles one day and then 100 miles the next day. You go out 100 miles and then you turn around the next day and you come back 100 miles.
Okay.
And it's this big event in Columbus, and you're going to have a lot of support and everything, blah, blah, blah. Then COVID hit. And so it shut everything down. The event was basically canceled. So it was a little disheartening, but basically what they did was they were like, just make it your own. You can decide to do it however you want. There's no donation. Like, you please still continue to donate and to raise money, but there's no set in stone number anymore. And you don't have to fulfill like the 200 miles if you don't want to. So I still set out to do the 200 miles. I was like, this is going to be a challenge for me. Mm-hmm. So I basically Googled the distance from Columbus to Toledo. And I started at the Shoe in Columbus, Ohio.
Nice.
And and went to my mom's gravesite. Ended at my mom's gravesite just to honor her and the whole deal of that. And that was 140 miles. And then I figured, the next day I'd do 60 miles. Well, one of my best friends, her mother passed away and from cancer. And so I decided the last 60, I was going to end at her gravesite. And we were going to do that. So, again, very meaningful, emotional, and really good. Just to be able to raise that money, just to have the support from everybody. Like, when I first started, the $3,000 goal to raise seemed like I may be stretching it. Like, I was like, I don't know if I can raise that much money. I've never tried to raise any money before, so I was like, I don't know if I can do this. The first 2 weeks, I had $1,500. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody was just so supportive right off the bat. It was like, this is a no-brainer. I'm definitely going to hit this goal. I might even get more, like, it was just, when you set out for something and you work your butt off for it and you try as hard as you can, it will happen. You'll get there for sure.
That's emotional, man. That's awesome. I probably can't express how I'm feeling right now just hearing you say that. I'm sure for you, I can't even imagine. I can't. There's no way that I can. But that had been an incredible experience getting here, getting to the site. I couldn't even put it into words. I can't even imagine what you were feeling. But like, hats off to you for doing something like that. Like, that's amazing. That's super amazing.
Imagine. This is what I rolled up to, man. Through all the COVID stuff, through all everything. I had friends and family that were there waiting for me to get there, that were checking on me every step of the way, that were, met me halfway to give me water, to make sure that I had everything.
That's awesome.
Just to be there, going out of their way to support me, man.
That's awesome.
It's just an unbelievable feeling. And I just want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart. Like, you know who you are. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed to have the people that are in my life, and I appreciate everything that they've done for me, for sure.
That's awesome, man. I have to imagine that was an incredible experience.
Check this: the back roads of Ohio. Because Google Maps, if you Google from the shoe to the cemetery, it'll take you through the back roads. Okay. So that you're the safest. Even if the roads don't have a bike path, it'll take you the less traveled roads. Okay. That was an amazing experience. I went through small towns of Ohio, barely, the downtowns are gone, right? And just houses are barely surviving, but then you see a beautiful home that's well taken care of. And you see a lot of it was corn and soybeans. Yeah. And then you see this nice house, this nice farmhouse and nice barn and nice tractors and all this. And it was just a surreal moment to be able to take this path and go down this road, one by myself. Yeah. Right. In my thoughts, and just taking it all in and just appreciating everything Ohio has to offer. Yeah. And it's not something that everybody gets to do on a regular basis. A lot of people take the easier path down, 23 and, kind of cruise through everything and don't really get to see rural Ohio. Yeah. The details exactly.
Really, when it comes down to it, because there's plenty of contrast, I guess I would say, between bigger cities where you're at your dad now and seeing those little rural areas as you come across, especially the areas more affected by COVID, because even those little downtowns, they can't. It's hard for any of those businesses to survive right now. Yeah. So it's a whole different time to see them. So I can imagine you riding through all that. That being said, you had to have been exhausted. I don't like. There's still a large distance there, man. Yeah. So how were you feeling most of the ride? Were you just thinking of the end game? Were you in the moment? Were you tired? Were you just ecstatic to be there? Kind of how were you feeling with that?
So I thought I was going to be a lot worse off than I was. And I trained for 6 months. I'd get up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and go out for bike rides for, 2-3 hours a day. On Saturdays, we'd go out for 5 hours. And, we trained for this. Okay. I never did 140 miles. I didn't. I made it to 100 miles during my training. Okay. but so the main reason I wanted the event to happen, I was a little disappointed that the event didn't happen, is because when you're in that event and you see all these other people that are with you, like you get a burst of energy. Like it's unexplainable.
You feed.
Yeah, you feed
off each other's energy.
Off that energy, and you see other people that are riding with you, and it's like another gear that you get into. And I was so worried that I was going to have this, like, I'm just going to be by myself and it's not going to mean as much and it's not going to be that epic and, you know, whatever. And I'm just going to dread this whole 140 miles. Never once did I feel that way.
No.
Never once, because like I said, I had all that support.
Yeah.
And people were tracking me. I sent them the app that I was working on, so they knew exactly where I was at. They were cheering me on every step of the way. It was like I was in the event all by myself, and it was not any different. And and so 70 miles came around, and I was like, I'm halfway there, and I'm not even done yet. Like, I could do this. Like, there's no way I'm not doing this, right? And up until I had about 20 miles left. I did 120 miles already. Up until about 20 miles, I started running low on water, and I was going back through the back roads of rural Ohio, which there's no gas stations or anything like that. And so I was a little worried about that. But once I took down the Powerade, once I got there,
golden.
I was golden, man.
Nice.
I'm able to walk around. I'm still able to, like, you know, I'm not incapacitated whatsoever. Like, my ankle's a little sore, but
like, you're good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Nice.
I'm good.
Nice. That's a long distance. And then you did 60 more.
Yeah. So
after that,
I did the 60. Yeah, and that's when my ankles really started to hurt, the last 60.
Yeah.
But again, I went out to UT. So I rode UT, and there's a trail, University Trail out there at UT, and it's 7.5 miles out. And then if you do a loop and come back, it's another 17.5 miles. So I basically stayed on this. In the last 18 miles, I ran into another guy that was out there, and this dude was just on a regular bike. Like, he didn't have any clip-in shoes for his pedals or anything like that. He wasn't wearing, like, you know, I have a jersey and pants or whatever. He wasn't wearing anything like that. He was just a regular dude on a bike, and he was keeping up with me. And so him and I started going like 20 miles an hour, and he was right behind me, and we were just. That was the event. Right? That was the event feeling that I got.
Yeah.
And so that last 20 miles went way better than the first 40.
Nice. Very nice.
So
you got to feed off the energy.
Yeah.
You got,
exactly. I got that event.
Yeah.
Right.
You got it. Very nice, man. I'm very happy for you, and that even though COVID's going on and all that's going on, that you were still able to have that. That's real special, man. Yeah. Like, real special. So I'm glad you were able to pull that off. Plus, that support from everybody had to have been an amazing feeling in and of itself right there. So I'm happy for you that you went through that. Like, I'm super happy for you.
True blessing, man. It's an unbelievable feeling to just know that when you set your mind to something and you have that support, like, that alone, the support alone is just gets you through the day. Yeah.
So, any plans on coming back to Toledo anytime soon? So you visit, you did the bike ride now. You visit, you said 2-3 times a year. That was pre-COVID. Yeah. So now I assume it's a little less, but do you have any plans on coming back here? Do you like it in Phoenix? So what's your mindset on that?
So I love it in Phoenix.
Okay.
I love Phoenix. I love the opportunities that I've been presented in Phoenix. I think being a large city as it is, there's a lot of opportunity out there.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's given me all I can take, and I just appreciate that so much.
Awesome.
I love Toledo, and I root for Toledo, and I will continue to root for Toledo. And it's, I'm going to do my best to give back to my community as much as I can. I come back here as often as I can. I'll come back in December, and it's more of like family thing, man. Like, I got to stay close to my family again. I support the people that support me, and I need to protect the people that really support me.
Yeah.
And that's what I do when I come home. I see them and rekindle relationships and stay close to the friends that I have here. And the friends that I have here are some of the closest friends that I'll ever have in my entire life, and they prove it every time I come back. And
Very nice.
Toledo, it will always have a special place in my heart.
Awesome.
For sure.
So business-wise, because moving-wise sounds like you're good in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Business-wise, do you plan on purchasing more properties? Do you want to expand on that? Do you want to expand on that maybe more towards your way?
Yeah.
Or do you want to expand here first and then maybe move there? Any plans on that? I know I'm throwing a lot at you right now, but
Yeah. So the original goal was to buy a property in Toledo, and then buy a property in Phoenix, and then buy a property in Columbus. And that way I always have a tie back home to those areas. Plus, Columbus is really booming right now, and I'd love to get into that action right there. And Phoenix is really booming right now. So luckily, after I bought the duplex in Ohio, in Toledo, I'm blessed enough to be able to buy a duplex out in Phoenix, where I live right now. I live in one side and I rent the other side out. And basically, I started from scratch on that. That house was newer, but it was never really taken care of. It's built in 2003.
Newer.
Yeah,
definitely newer.
Yeah, definitely newer. But everything I when I walked into the place, and I got videos and of upgrades and pictures of what I've done to the place, but I basically did everything except tear down the walls. Brand new paint, brand new floors, brand new painting the cabinets,
so
brand new
touched
appliances.
everything up. Like everything was good, but everything needed touched up. Is that like the scenario?
Yeah, exactly. It was just old and outdated and whatnot. And
is that the house you put the pictures, or you've welded the storm door on there?
Yeah, man. I'm learning all this on my. I've never welded before, and the welds look like shit, but.
But do they hold?
They work.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it
I
right
can swing
there.
on that door all day long.
That's what's up, man. That's all you need right there.
Yeah, man.
Most of the welds, even if it's bad, you can grind it down to make it look real nice. It's as long as it holds, you're golden, man.
Exactly.
And you did the work yourself, which is what's awesome. A lot of people are scared to do that.
Yeah.
Especially with something like welding. Would you buy your own welder?
Yeah. Bought a cheap welder. Yeah.
Did you with stick welding?
Huh?
Stick welding? What kind of welding did you do?
It's just like a little. I don't even know.
Does it have? Okay, so there's two different kinds. There's you can hit the gun. It feeds something out.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, so it's like a MIG welder.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, those are easier.
Yeah,
those are way easier. Thank goodness. You just got to clamp on and then weld it down. But if you don't know what you're doing or you've never done it before, that's a scary experience.
Yeah.
The first time I MIG welded, it was like, what? Like, what? And they're like, no, you have to keep feeding and keep going. I'm like, this is scary, man. There's so many spikes. Burn me.
It's sparking in your eyes and you can't see what's going on.
This is insane. So, and that was me when I was training for Tool and Die. You just wanted to do it. Yeah. That's insane. That's great.
YouTube University.
Yeah,
man.
YouTube University. They don't understand how crucial YouTube is to learn anything that you want to. Anything. I don't care what it is. There is a video out there teaching you exactly how to do it.
Detailed videos.
Detailed. Absolutely.
Like they break it down for you.
Yeah.
Like anything that you want. Like,
and a lot of times you get pros who have been doing it for like ever. So they give you tips that even learning here you wouldn't learn.
Yeah.
So you have this outside perspective and you got somebody who's been doing this for 15 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, make sure you don't do the one thing that you were probably going to do right away.
Right.
It's like, oh, thank God I watched that YouTube video. It's important to take advantage of that.
See, for me is I'll watch the video and then I'll just jump right into it. And then that video will be like, make sure you don't do this. And I had already done that. So it's a little, I was like, a little
Step
too
2,
late.
make sure in step 1 you don't do this. It's like, I should have watched the whole video first. Yeah.
But no, it's been a learning experience, man, and once you get past that fear, because when I was buying the duplex, I backed out. The duplex out in Phoenix, I was like, this is an expensive purchase. It was one of those. It was the biggest purchase I ever made. It wasn't like
the scary. You go into a financial situation like that. Yeah.
I was like, what happens? What happens if this? What happens if that? What happens if this?
You can get lost in that negative thought too. You can get lost.
You go down
it's
a
not
rabbit
even
hole.
negative. It's a reality because those things can happen.
Yeah.
When you start weighing everything, it gets really scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And other options seem more feasible, and you start looking at other ways to do things, and you're like, well, I could just hold off a little bit longer until I'm a little bit more comfortable, blah, blah, blah. And I honestly, when I was already approved for everything, it was going to go through. I just needed to get an appraisal for the property and make sure it appraised correctly. And I called my realtor up the night before the appraisal, and I was like, I can't do it. I was like, I'm pulling out. And he's like, I get it. He's like, let's just see what it appraises for, and then we'll make a decision on it. And I was like, honestly, I don't really care what it appraises for. Like,
you're already, you were already set.
I was like, I've already figured a different route to take that would be safer.
Yeah.
And that's all it came down to, was I would have been a little bit safer.
Yeah.
And he was like, let's just see what it comes from. Like, let's sleep on it, blah, blah, blah. And I tell you what, that night I slept and I had a dream. And it wasn't like you need to buy this property type of dream, but it was a dream where I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, I'm going to buy this property. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, I'm just going to go through it and see what happens.
The universe spoke to you.
It wasn't even like a ghost came up and was like, yo, you need to buy this property.
It was just a feeling, right?
It was just a feeling that I need to take this chance. I need to take this risk, and I need to just see it through all the way. And it's worked out, man.
Nice. I think that's what you wanted originally. So you got the duplex that you wanted in a city that you love. Like, it's amazing. Awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just a stepping stone to build a bigger future, you know.
Was the second part of the duplex, was it all empty? The whole home was empty, or were there people?
Both sides had people in it.
Okay.
Yeah. So they both had leases, and I had to buy one of the leases out, so that I could move in per my mortgage contract.
Yeah.
And the other tenants that were in there, they're wonderful people. I love them, and I hope that they stay for a long time. And you know, everything's been working out. They like me. If they need something, I go over there and fix it. It's good having me right next door.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's.
I was gonna say, did you need to do any work to either or, other than just the finishing touches or the retouching, I guess, of everything?
So basically, everything just needs to be done on both sides. Like, I need to get another appraisal so that I can get the value of the home properly appraised. But I have to do, there's electrical work that I have to do. That, not saying that it's not up to code, but it just needs to be a little bit better.
There's always new stuff. There's always better ways to get it set up. Especially, that's the one that was the one from 2003.
Yeah,
that was built in 2003. So it can't be. It can't be out of date or too far off.
So let me tell you a story about the water heater. So my tenant's water heater went out, right? And I'm tearing. I already tore up the floors, and I'm putting down the floors. And basically, I work my 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. job, and then right after that I go to the gym, and then I come back and I start working on little projects around the house. And so I'm doing these from 4 or 5 to 8 o'clock at night.
Okay.
Basically, all I'm doing is renovating my side of the property. And midway through this, doing the floors, and in my head, I'm like, man, I don't know what I got myself into. I'm having.
You get lost in thought.
Yeah. Getting those second thoughts. I'm like, man, how is this ever gonna work out? Blah blah blah. My tenants come over and Josh, the water heater's out. There's no hot water. And the water heater basically is leaking all over the place. It's just done.
Worst case scenario type deal.
And it's late at night. Nobody's around. Nobody's available to get it fixed. So when I turn off the water, it's off on my side too.
Yeah.
Because it's a duplex. The water just goes to one bill.
Yeah.
And so we had to go through this no water for a day and a half, and I try to do the best I can, and hey, look, I know you don't have any water and it sucks, but I also don't have any water, and I know it sucks. I'm going through this with you guys.
Yeah.
So don't think that I'm just trying to push everything off until it's convenient for me.
Yeah.
And so I was really having some negative thoughts and whatnot, and the plumber that came over the next day to do the water heater, he looks at me, he's like, you own both sides? And I was like, yeah, these are my tenants. Just let me know if you need any help or whatever. He's like, wow, man. He's like, you're young. He's like, the fact that you are doing this right now is just amazing. Good for you. You're really doing something for yourself. He told me he was proud of me.
That's awesome.
A complete stranger.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That just gave me that extra energy to keep going. I'm doing something.
Yeah.
I'm not just doing this just as a hobby. This is something special. And so that, it's little things like that when you really when you look at life through those glasses and those views, life is a lot more enjoyable.
Hats off to that guy. Also, because sometimes we all need a little bit of encouragement, even at moments that we, he didn't even know. He doesn't know what's going through your head. Right. He has no idea.
Right.
He just saw something going on that he really liked, told you how he felt about it, and it was at a pivotal moment where you were having thoughts that weren't so great, and that just reassured that you were on the right track. And I think we should all do that. I think when we see things that are positive, see things that we feel good about, we should say it. We should tell people that. I think some people are scared to give like a compliment to people at times. Yeah. And I think that's crucial. So hats off to him for giving you that compliment that gave you that boost.
Yeah.
Because you were already doing the right things, but your mind was a little off.
Yeah.
And that just put it right back on track. Now you're fine.
Yep.
Keep going.
Yep.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Very
man.
nice.
And you got to watch out for those things, man. You can't just if someone gives you a compliment, you got to really appreciate that. You got to take it in. You got to soak it up for what it is, Yeah. I think a lot of people, a lot of times they dwell on the negative things and that has happened in their lives. And if you can just find those positives, little positives here and there and soak those in, your mindset is just a whole nother world, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it goes a long way. It really does go like a super long way. And we all go through times where our mindset isn't right. This is life. It's not all always positive things. So sometimes we go through that little funk. And it's crazy how just one little statement can help at least make the turn to get you out of there. Maybe it's not the whole thing, but it at least triggers something in your mind to go back into a positive state. And then that rolls, man. That goes right back into the energy that you're putting in every day, and that spirals into something great. So hats off to him for giving you that compliment.
Absolutely, man. I needed it. He gave it to me at the exact time that I needed it. And I look back on that when anything else happens that's a little bit outside of what I was expecting, I look back on that.
Yeah.
And, that dude was a complete stranger.
Yeah.
And he gave me something that I can always reach in my back pocket and pull out and keep moving forward. So,
very nice.
Yeah.
So if you are looking for more opportunities here, there, I don't know if we answered that question. You got that property now there.
Yeah.
Do you want to do more properties there? Do you want to? You said Columbus here, there, but like, which one are you aiming for?
Columbus is next.
Or you're really
Columbus is next. So I'll get these properties that I have here straightened out and fully rented.
Okay.
100% capacity, and then I plan on staying at my place and fixing up both sides and making both sides look the same as mine and putting new floors in, painting and whatnot. And then in the meantime, I'm gonna start looking at places in Columbus.
Okay.
And I think that's once I have that one, then I'll refocus and come back to Toledo. And who knows? Being in this community of investing in investment properties, you meet other investors and you meet other people that are doing the same thing as you, and other opportunities start presenting themselves. And I think maybe I have an opportunity to get into a property in New York, not New York City, but New Albany, New York, or something like that. And we'll see where it takes us. I'm not set in stone on anything in particular just yet, but definitely Columbus will be my next focus, and hopefully that works out.
Isn't it hard to manage them in different locations like that, though? Like the more spread out you are, or is that what you want? Like you want to have, and if you do that, do you have anybody who would assist you? Because like, let's say you buy one in Columbus and something happens, the water heater, the water goes out. Do you have somebody close that would assist? Would you fly out there? Like, how would that work if you were renting those kind of properties out?
Yeah, so when I originally started here in Toledo, my cousin, who is a blessing, she was my property management for a while. And then I got, one property is okay for, a mom and pop type of deal that like we were. And then two properties is a little stringent, but the 3 properties being 4 units, it was too much.
Yeah.
It was too much just for an inexperienced person, so she was inexperienced, I was inexperienced. We didn't really know like how to best go about certain circumstances. And so I ended up going with a property management company out here. And so they deal with a lot of the day-to-day type of things.
Nice. Okay.
And so I don't have to worry about that. I just basically, I'm quote unquote manage the property managers.
Okay.
Right. To make sure like I'm on the same page as them. I know exactly what's going on. And
Gotcha.
you know,
Okay.
if something breaks down, they let me know. And then I give the go ahead to fix it a certain way or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I would do if I bought one in Columbus. I'd have
Same deal.
yeah,
Okay.
I'd do the same deal. Property management company. They take a cut of the rent in the profits or whatever. But
in any situation, they're there to kind of take care of it.
exactly.
Okay, so it's worth it. Peace of mind.
Peace of mind.
Because if anything happens, you don't have to fly out or do anything. That's what I was kind of wondering. Like, how would you even handle that if something were to go bad? What you gotta catch a plane? Like, how does that work?
Yeah.
You have a friend. That's nice. All right, so more property. Columbus would be nice. Columbus would be really nice to have a house out there.
Mm-hmm. And then think about it like this. So I always have considered going back to Columbus and potentially living in Columbus because Nationwide is based out in Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of opportunities for me out there. And so if I have a duplex in Arizona and I have a duplex in Phoenix or in Columbus, and one side rents and pays the mortgage, if the other side is vacant, I can come and go as I please.
I was just going to say that. You
know?
always have a backup house.
Exactly.
Like, worst case scenario, you have a place to go in any of these locations, which is awesome to be able to, I'm going to go here for a week or I'm going to go there. And
especially now with everybody working from home or a lot of people working from home. And, I work from home full time now because of COVID. Not that I'd rather be in the office. I like to get that FaceTime and interaction with a lot of people, but it opens up different opportunities. It may cut off the opportunities from networking with people in the office, but it opens up opportunities for me to be able to move to Columbus and start renovating a property out there or whatever. So, you just got to look at the positives of things. But yeah, that's the goal, like be a snowbird, I guess. Yeah. Be a snowbird. It gets 110, 120 degrees in Arizona, come back to Columbus and
disappear for a little bit, do your thing
out
there, and then nice.
Absolutely.
I was just gonna say something. It left my head right as I was gonna say it. The backup properties is nice, but there was something else I wanted to touch on with that, and it completely left my head. It's gone. It's out of there completely now.
With the Columbus or
no, with you know what? COVID. Everybody working from home.
Yeah.
Working out of the office. Like, I loved working in the office because I like talking to people, and networking is crucial to anything.
Absolutely.
And the more people you get to know, everybody has a little bit of a different tastes in life. So they do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and you get to meet people like that, and they may have some knowledge and point you in the right direction, or they may know somebody. It's just a lot of positive things that I like about that. Yeah. And then I don't get me wrong, I'm working from home as well. I love working from home. It's really convenient.
Flexible.
And then when you get off work, it's like, all right, you find, while working from home, I found myself in my thought train to be able to invest more in myself into what can I do? What else can I do while I'm here? Because if not, you feel like you're wasting time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're at home, working from home for 8 hours, and then you just watch TV after you're done, you feel like like me, I feel like I'm like, I need to do something with my life.
And you didn't even get that transition, that car ride to get out of your work mindset, right? So now you're like, now you just don't know what to do. You're confused, right?
Yeah. It's a horrible. So it's like, all right, so I do miss the office because of that. Like, I really want to go back and talk to people, and it's weird. And so it's a balance of, like, I don't want to get COVID. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really want to be around too many people, but also, like, being at home, if you don't do the right things, can be very unhealthy. Mm-hmm. Like, if you don't do the right things, it can be very bad. And for me, like, at the beginning of all this, like, my eating habits, my sleeping habits, a lot of it was just not good. It was not good for my own mental state of mind. And then as I realized that, I was like, hold on. I'm not taking care of myself as much as I did when you had a normal routine. You'd go out, you do certain things. That's the key word,
man. Routine. Routine. You got to find your routine in this unroutine world that we live in right now.
Yeah.
Like, that's the hardest for a lot of people to do, man. Like,
you got to do it yourself, because when you have a job, okay, you have to be there at this time. You have to do this. You have to dress however you have to dress. You have these things that you follow, And it gives you that structure that some people need. That structure, you have to have it, otherwise you don't feel right. Like you don't know how. Some people are not good at discipline of structuring themselves, so they have that structure, and then you take that away, and it's like, and that was me. Again, that was me completely. Where I'm in a routine of working out every day, eating healthier, doing a couple things to help myself out. Otherwise, being at home all day can drive you insane.
Yeah.
You got to do something. Mine started out with like doing some projects around the house, renovating the bathroom, the kitchen, some bedrooms, painting, all kinds of stuff. And I was like, then you get tired, you get wore out of renovating. You're like, all right, I need to slow down. But then you start doing nothing, and it's like, all right, how do I find a balance of what to do? And that routine is crucial. It's like, all right, let me get up in the morning. I'm going to do this. I'm going to prepare for this. What can I do after work? Okay, I have this many hours. I can set it up. Scheduling stuff out so that you have it mapped out to do it is crucial to getting more stuff done. Don't get me wrong. You can probably get a lot of it done without it. But you're gonna skip days. You're gonna miss. It's gonna take you forever to do that. If you just write it out, like, all right,
you're just more efficient.
You're
just
efficient.
more efficient.
That's the word.
I mean, that's what it comes down to. If you break it out and you say this is what I'm gonna do on a regular basis, then you build habits and you don't have to think about it. Once you build habits, that's the best thing about habits is your mind doesn't have to think about it. It doesn't have to work hard, and you don't have to use energy to go through that process. It's like brushing your teeth. You wake up and you brush your teeth and you don't think about it, and it's not something that takes energy away from you.
Yeah.
Whereas, if you throw in something new every day that you weren't planning for, like you have to consider whether you really want to do that day or you want to do something else. Like the less decisions that you have to make throughout the day, the less your mind has to work on, and it can focus on other more important tasks and more important decisions, and you can make clearer decisions. Way clearer decisions because you already have it mapped out what you want, what's going to happen, all this. It just makes it easier. Okay, I'm going to go through that. And when you get hit with something that you need to think about, you can focus on that one thing. Whereas if you don't, your whole thing is, should I do this? Should I not? It's mentally exhausting. Yeah.
It's mentally exhausting too, where maybe you don't even do any of those things. You just lay down on the couch and just watch Netflix, and you're like, done. I'm done for the day. I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah. And it comes down to, I mean, people don't think about it. It comes down to the most minute decisions. Like I said, brushing your teeth. You don't think about that because you usually do that on a regular basis, but it's like I usually meal prep, and now I haven't, because of COVID, I haven't really meal prepped because I'm already at home. But usually I wouldn't have to make that decision because I made all my food on Sunday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I don't have to worry about what I'm eating for lunch now because I don't meal prep because I'm already at home and I can just cook meal while I'm at home. I still have to decide what I'm going to cook. Yeah. And then I'm like, well, it's going to take me 20 minutes.
I don't feel like it.
I don't really feel like doing that. You know, like I'll just go run to the store real quick and grab something, or I'll go eat out, or, it's those things. And it goes down to like when you're trying to work out and you're trying to eat right and you're trying to eat healthier and stuff like that. It's like, if you can just lay out that's why meal prep is so crucial.
It really is.
Because if you can just lay out your meals and you don't have to think about it, you just pull it out of the fridge, throw it in the microwave, and go about your day. You don't have to decide whether you're going to go get food at McDonald's or going to get, get Taco Bell or whatever. It's already right there in front of you that you really have like, it takes more work for you to go to McDonald's than it would be for you to pull that out and throw it in the microwave, right? So it's those things that people need to really re-strategize their mind and really focus on, like how to make this easier for me to get through this difficult life choice.
I feel like I had to hit like a super down point for me to get there, though. Like for me, it was like just a bunch of like, I don't know, like I'm so social. Like I talk to everybody. Like I love talking, obviously, and I did that at work. I talk to people. In stores, I talk to random people. Like I like talking. And since COVID hit, it's like I've completely started like isolating myself for safety purposes. You know what I mean? Like trying to be as safe as possible. But an extremity of that is bad as well. Like an extremity of anything, I guess, is bad. But like I found myself to an extremity not wanting to go to the store, not wanting to go out, not wanting to do certain things. And it was taking a negative effect. And I feel like I had to hit a point where it was just like I just felt really bad. Like I felt really negative. Like I felt really down on myself. For me to be like, I had to analyze, why am I feeling this way? What am I doing wrong? Is it something that I'm doing? Is it like everyone affected because of COVID this way? Or is it me in particular? Or a mixture of both?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think it's a mixture of both.
Yeah.
Everyone's handling it different, and nobody can tell you that they can give you their best practices, but it might not be the best practice for you.
It won't work for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's life is completely different. So it took a while for me to evaluate the things that I was doing wrong, because when I had that routine of going to work, doing that, I operated a little bit differently, and also express myself more, because I get to talk to people. I get to do this. I expend energy doing that. Like it's my normal way of being. And then I found that I wasn't expending energy that way. I wasn't socializing like I should. I wasn't doing any of these things. Also, I wasn't being as productive. Aside from that, food intake wasn't being good. I wasn't doing exercise. It was like a list of things that I had to evaluate one day, and I'm like, I don't have a chance.
Yeah.
I don't have a chance at all. Like, if I don't do anything, like, how am I supposed to prosper and move forward if I'm not setting myself up for that? So I had to evaluate, okay, well, what first thing physically, I need to start working out. I need to start doing that. Eating, I need to start eating better. I need to do these things. And scheduling out, I'm still working on that one. That was a little tougher, but like I do a lot better about scheduling some things out. Okay, this is what I'm going to do this week. I need to get this accomplished. As long as I get this done by this day, I'm good. Yeah. And have some kind of like a loose structure at least. Has helped me phenomenally. Like it's helped me a lot get out of that like negative mind state and start moving forward positive and pushing towards good things. I mean, just work. First of all, you've been working out since high school. You've been working out for a long. You work out every day?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, at least 6 times a week. Yeah,
at least 6 times a week. Do you have a routine for working out? Do you work out in the mornings, afternoons? Like, what's your routine for working out?
It depends. Like before COVID, it was going before the.
I was like, I know I hear something here.
No, it depends. Before COVID, I'd be at the gym, but because of I was training for this bike ride, I was doing more cardio stuff, and I was able to get outside, and so this bike ride has been just a blessing again in a different aspect where normally I'm going in the gym, and if I didn't have the gym, I wouldn't know what to do. My first choice wouldn't be to go ride a bike for 100 miles, But because I was training for this, I had another out, right? Yeah. And so I switch it up. I do training for this bike ride. I did a lot of running, and I did a lot of obviously biking, but I still hit the weights every once in a while. But after now that this is training, I'm going to take probably a week or two off and just kind of regenerate and just chill a little bit, and then. As soon as the gyms open back up in Arizona, I'm going to go back to the gyms and start hitting the weights. Nice. So it's 5-6 days a week. It's, I don't really have a set regimen. I just go in there and I enjoy doing that. Nice. That's my way of taking it from work and just differentiating my day, basically.
Like splitting it.
Yeah. Now I'm off work and I go to the gym, and then I do things that I enjoy to do. I got the hard things out of the way already. Yeah. Sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and do it before work, but a lot of the times I like to work out after work just because I'm more awake and I feel like I get a better workout after work. But it just depends on what my day looks like.
I found myself working out more towards the evening, 7-ish. Yeah. And then getting home, and I wake up at like 5 in the morning on most occasions. So
are you able to go to sleep after
working out?
Yeah. You just
because I'm not in shape. So like I'm exhausted, and I got a trainer, and he's pushing, and we're in the 2nd month now. So he's adding a little bit of things on and changing it up on us, which is great. Yeah. But I'm sore, man. I leave there and I'm exhausted. I go home, shower, I'm ready for bed. Yeah. Like I know some people, it wakes them up and they can't go to bed. Yeah. I'm the exact opposite. I snore, man. I'm done for the day. And but I like that though. And I wake up in the morning refreshed, more energy, feeling better, clear head, all those things that people talk about, and you're just like, how does that do?
No,
it does.
It works,
I don't know how I'm not a specialist on any of that, but I know it works.
Them endorphins, man. Those, it's real thing, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wanted to go touch back on what you were saying, that the extremes. When people go off on the extremes, you got to have a balance, right? And it's one of those things where it's the same on both ends. Like, you can't be extreme on working out, and especially now with COVID, like, people need to cut themselves some slack. Like, yeah, don't just give up on life, and don't just like give up on your routines or whatever. But if you gained a couple of pounds, if you gained 2 or 3 pounds, and you're still trying to figure out like what your schedule is, and you haven't been able to work out like you normally do, but you're still getting in there, and you're still trying, cut yourself some slack, man. Just cut yourself some slack, and just realize that everybody's going through this, and everybody needs to figure it out, and we're all, it's a learning curve for everybody. Yeah. So
one thing I want to touch on with that is, and everyone's going to learn at their own pace. Everybody's going to be a little bit different. Some people are going to find their niche. Some people are not going to find it. Some people are going through like a depressive state of mind. Yeah. Some people are prospering. There's all types of things going on. It's okay, no matter which stage you're at in that, and it's okay. The one thing and I talked about this with the vet on the last podcast. It's okay to talk about certain things that you're going through. Where I think a lot of people are closed off on talking about depression, talking about kind of what's going on with them, because they're afraid of what their responses might be from the outside. But I think that's very healthy, and I've gotten into lengthy conversations with my friends about the state of where everything's at right now, and how it affects my mindset, and how it's affected me personally. And then you find that, other people are going through similar things, and they didn't know that, maybe they should start trying to do a routine, or eating, or working out, any of those things. Maybe it benefits them as well. Maybe they don't see that, because I know I didn't see any of that till I hit a point where I was down, and then I had it was literally like, I need to look for answers. I'm sure there's plenty of other people that are going through some stuff. It's okay to talk about these kind of things. Talking about these kind of things sometimes leads to revelations that you need in order to change that mindset, in order to get out of it. So I want people to be comfortable to talk about things like that. Some people don't talk about feelings.
Yeah.
They don't want to talk about their feelings. Yeah. And it's okay to talk about your feelings. We're human beings. We're all going through some crazy stuff. This is unprecedented. Like, this is ridiculous.
Nobody knows what's going on.
In such a prospering era of technology, of the way the world is being just run, the way the things work in the world right now are so technologically advanced, and yet this thing has brought us all down. Thank goodness that we have, and we were talking about this earlier, things like the technology to, this could be way worse. Yeah. This could be way worse. We could have no TVs. We could have, we have Netflix, Hulu. We have, not only do we have TV, we have the option to choose whatever we want. Like, specifically, I want to specifically watch this show. I can go to that show.
At any time.
At any time. I need this in my house. I don't want to go to the store. Amazon will have it to you. By the way, they got that. They built the Amazon place here.
Yeah.
They built 2. They built the facility in Rossford, and then they built another one. I forget where the other location's at. But I'm hoping to get that like same day shipping here soon.
Hey, that's in Phoenix, and that's a real thing.
That's
man.
awesome.
Like 4 hours later, that's a real thing.
That's so awesome. But peanut butter and jealous, man.
Yeah. the best part about that is obviously the jobs for Toledo. In the Rossford area.
Yes.
Like that's gonna bring.
I think they said 1,200 jobs.
Yeah, man.
1,200 jobs, which is great.
Crucial.
1,200 jobs. Crucial. Yeah.
That's how you build cities, right? You lower the crime and you increase the jobs. And,
yes.
And I think Toledo is trying to do that, and they're doing the best they can. And it's going to take time, obviously. But they're well on their way, and I'm super pumped to see what this is going to turn into, because 10 years ago. 10 years ago, it wasn't looking this good.
No, not at all. Did you see the new park they're building right in front of the river?
Yeah.
They got
those apartments?
Right by the apartments, right? Oh, man, those apartments are super nice, by the way. Yeah. And then they're building a trail that's going to connect the park right under the high-level bridge and that area all the way around, like where the docks is and all that. And there's going to be a little bridge over Main Street.
Oh.
Right there, right before the Cherry Street Bridge.
Yeah.
And it's going to connect right on the inner side of those apartments. And it's going to lead into a trail that's going to lead to the park on the that they're building on that other side.
Yeah.
It looks amazing. They're doing a building there that's going to be encased in glass. They're going to do all types of different plants that are native to this area on the roof. So the whole roof is going to be that. And then there's like an observation at the top. So you can go up and you can take a view of the city from that glass building. And then the rest of the parkway, they're doing like a water obstacle course, like they'll have little platforms and ropes that you swing across.
Really?
To it looks amazing. I think the whole thing is going to be like 5 miles. I'm not positive on that, but it's like a 5-mile trail that you can go around.
Yeah, which is perfect for right now. You know,
perfect.
Get everybody outside, breathe that fresh air, get that vitamin D going. You know, it's thinking outside the box. Outside the box. You know, and that's something that honestly Toledo's lacked for a few years.
They have.
Yeah.
And they were talking about the reasons behind it. They didn't know what to build there. They didn't know if they should build something that would bring people, bring money. How do they approach what they want to build? And I think a park is perfect, especially for that area that has not been utilized like at all.
No.
That area has been sat on for decades.
Yeah.
That area has been sat on for way too long.
Especially after the hockey team left out of there. You know, it's just been a struggle, man.
Yeah, there's been nothing to replace that. By the way, a Bag of Nails is the name of the little restaurant there.
Yeah, I heard of that.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Delicious. And right in front of the river. Like, it's perfect. Like, I'm so happy that we're building things like that. Yeah. Like, those are little, well, I mean, those are a big deal. But, I mean, in the scheme of a city, it's one building. Yeah. But it makes a major impact. And then just that.
Brings the morale up. It brings the people in, brings the morale up. It gives our city a different look. People are looking at us now like we're Toledo's up and coming, basically. You know, instead of like Toledo's not doing so well. You know, it's a different look for us, and that's something that we've been desperately trying to figure out how to do. And I'm so glad that whoever's doing it, and you know, whatever group of people are doing it, let's
keep
praise
doing
them.
Yeah, keep doing what you're doing, please. Yeah. And it's not just the things that we've seen; it's the things that I see that they are still doing. All the construction going around the city, which especially with COVID hit, everything like reverts back to COVID, just because it's like it's a major impact on everything.
Absolutely.
But it's put a halt to a lot of the progress that we were doing. Not a halt, but it's definitely slowed it down. A lot of the construction areas, a lot of things have slowed down, and even the amount of money that we can invest into these things, just because of the economic crisis that not only Toledo's going through, but just the United States in general is going through right now. It has kind of slowed the progress now. But what I love is I still see the progress. Like, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it in the buildings that they're making. I'm seeing it in the plans that they're releasing. Because you can go online and look at the plans of what they have for development in these areas. And it's amazing. Like, it's great because you don't, like before, it was stagnant. It was like, there's nothing to do in the city, and nobody's doing anything about it. Yeah. So, like, here we are. Yeah. Why isn't anybody doing to invest in it? And now you see these investments coming in. It feels like it can snowball. Yeah, it can go bigger and bigger and bigger. And it gives you that bigger city vibe that I think we should have. We should already have.
Absolutely, man. We're in a perfect position, a perfect location to be able to be a bigger city.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no reason that we can't do what
absolutely
what
by
we're
investing. By investing, we have to invest into it for that to happen. Yeah. But I'm seeing it, and I'm loving it. Again, I don't know who those group of people are. Yeah. Keep doing whatever they're doing. They're on the right track. It's really helping out the city. I can't wait for that park to be open.
And you know what? It comes down to a lot of like there's things that you and I can do. You know, there's things that even not investors, but just picking up our trash, keeping our own space clean. If we work together, if I keep my space clean and you keep your space clean, and that your neighbor keeps their space clean, like those things add up. And
big time.
And if that's all you can do to contribute to the growth of this city, you're doing your part.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And I think that's people don't play that up enough. People don't take enough pride.
That mindset.
Yeah.
That's a mindset of taking pride in it, and super against littering. I hate littering. Yeah. I hate people litter. I hate it. Like I hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it.
It's a pointless.
Hate it. It really is.
it's
Like,
pointless.
yo, there's trash cans everywhere, man. Like, don't do, or like when people throw things out of their car.
Yeah.
It like
ridiculous.
irks me so bad. It's like leave it in the car, get home, throw it away in the trash. But you're right. Something as simple as that has a major impact. If more people had that mentality, that pride, honestly, that pride in the city, I think it would help out dramatically.
I mean, think about it like this: you got to take care of yourself. Of course, when you're in a plane, they tell you, put your mask on first, and then take care of somebody else. You take care of yourself first. So take care of your own environment first. Then you take care of your family, and then you take care of your community.
Yep.
And that
spreads out.
And that's all you can do. If that's the best you can do, you're doing something.
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's what people need to just focus on. Don't worry about. Don't get to a good spot for yourself and just stay there. Get to a good spot for yourself, and then get your family to a good spot for themselves, and then work outside of that and get the community to a good spot. And if that just means that you're patronizing a downtown business, or you're picking up your trash outside of the front of your house, or you see some trash on the street and you pick that up, like.
It's all positive. It's all good.
If that's all you can do, then that's all you can do. But at least you're doing something, and at least you're not contributing the other way.
That's plenty. That's not at least. That's plenty. Like, do that. Like, that's all. And that takes, like, not much time out of your day to do something like that. In your general vicinity.
Not
just
much energy or anything.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's seen more in certain areas than it's seen in others, but I want that to spread.
Yeah.
Like, I want that mentality to spread. I want that kind of feeling in the communities. I kind of feel that it's growing more and more. I'd love to pour some gas on that and like fuel that fire. I love it. I love that kind of mentality, and it helps our city out so much. It really does. All the city needs, honestly, aside from the investments they're putting in, is just love. Like, honestly, and the community here though is great.
Yeah,
like when it comes to local, when it comes to things around here, the community is on it. Yeah. When it comes to supporting local, they're great about it. I just want that to spread into more. That spread it as much as you can into smaller communities, into other areas.
I think that's the best thing about the whole thing. With the new apartments and the park that you were talking about down there by the river, like people start to see that that's a nice area, then that's a trickle down effect, and then also it's like, okay, now I want my area to look nice. So then it's a growth aspect as well. So you're getting it from both sides. But that wouldn't have been mindset wouldn't have been possible. This growth mindset wouldn't have been possible had this trickle down effect not had happened. And so it's like it takes the whole community to come together and really realize, like, this is important to a lot of people, and we need to really come together and do what we have to do.
I think Toledo's on the right track. I honestly say it. Like I said, this COVID thing is kind of, I mean, that's a halt to everything. But I have to say, honestly, Toledo's on the right track with all this. I'm very happy with the way that it's progressing. What year did you graduate? Did you graduate 06?
07.
07?
Yeah.
Okay, 05, 07. So I graduated 05, you 07. We saw what Toledo was back then. Do you remember what Toledo was back then? There wasn't much of
no.
That was the beginning of the era of the Mud Hens and that. Was that area. It was early 2000s.
Yeah.
There was nothing. And
there wasn't a lot of hype about. There was some hype, but at least for me, when I got out of high school, there wasn't a lot of hype for me to go to one of these games. One, because I couldn't, what did we want to do when we got out of high school? You party and you drink.
Yeah.
And, I wasn't old enough to do that, so that, those things weren't really for me. But like a nice park that I can go and hang out with my buddies with, or a nice community pool that we can go hang out and just have a good time with, like. To realize, like, these are activities that we can do outside of just, partying and getting in trouble and doing that stuff. So
absolutely.
A lot of that, for me at least, I was trying to get out of here after high school because there wasn't anything going on, and I knew if I stayed here, I was just going to get in trouble. And it could have went either way, but at least for me, like I knew who I was, and I knew that it wasn't going to work for me.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people fall into that where they're like, they don't realize who they are, and they don't realize what, what path they're going down and how to get out of it, and they don't do it soon enough. So to have different outlets and different things to do, and it's not
and positive outlets.
Things,
That's crucial to that.
Yeah.
I did so right after high school, I left. I went to Miami, and I was like, big city life. You know what I mean? And honestly, I made way more mistakes there than I should. This is right after high school. I'm 18 in Miami.
I didn't even know you went back to Miami.
Oh yeah. I went to Miami right after high school, like a month after I graduated high school. I was like, I'm gone, and I took off. And I'm so grateful for when I came back. I came back like a year later, because I was in Miami in a loophole where I was working really hard, spending my money every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Really bad cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Really bad cycle. What am I ever gonna get out of in life? Like.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen here?
Yeah.
So it was fun at first though, so I kept doing it for a while, and then I was like, what am I doing here? Like, the city is beautiful. There's plenty to do here, but I'm doing all the wrong things. Like, this is just bad. Everything's expensive. Like,
what were you doing for work out there?
I did laying tile.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we used to work on good money.
Good trade.
Yeah. And they paid you by the job, so we would get everything done like super quick. Like it's getting up like every day like 4:30 in the morning and working until like 7-8 o'clock at night. So like putting in major hours. But like where it would take a crew maybe like 2-3 weeks to do a job, we'd have it done in like 5 days. Because we were just like at it.
We
like
need to get paid.
That's all we wanted, get paid. But then we just went to go spend it. Like, it was the stupidest thing ever. But I was 18, mind you. And I was like, I just want to party as much as I can.
Well, that's the time where you can make those mistakes and still come out of it and still be okay.
Yeah.
As long as you don't go too far off the deep end.
And I'm grateful that I did that and made that mistake, because when I came back, I had a deeper appreciation for this city. Whereas I saw it as a small city, I saw the potential that we really had here. And where Miami was like that big city that I wanted, it was too big and filled with too many bad things disguised in a pretty landscape. And it tricked me hardcore. And I came back and I was like, okay. And I was like, all right, I need to come back here. And I started looking at the city. And I was like, yo, I super underappreciated the city. First of all, like because I know that I used to talk bad about Toledo because I felt like I had nothing to do. And I was probably very accurate on that. There really wasn't anything to do. But as the city's been building, like when I came back, I was like, this city has potential. Then they started adding little things in. And really, honestly, like it's gone slowly, very slowly since then in the wrong direction. And then within the last 5 years, decade, it's gone up exponentially. I hope it continues that trend. I really do. I love it here. My mindset now is way different than what my mindset was in high school. And the things that they're doing here are very different than what they were doing back then. And we need those positive outlets. The park is just a positive thing that you can do. What are you doing? Walk around, go play, go do whatever. You're physically getting some exercise. Spiritually, you're breathing that fresh air. Like that's so good overall. That doesn't involve drinking. That doesn't involve partying. That doesn't involve any of those kind of things.
And then it gives like families a place to, do something free. And not have to worry about, spending an arm and a leg to do something. They can go out and they have a good time, and it's not going to cost them a ton of money, and they can use that money to do other things.
And that's family time.
And that's
you go out to it with your family and go enjoy those things.
Underestimate family time.
Super.
Way too much. Like, family is very important. Your personal life is extremely your own and how you make it. And family is a big part of that. And if you don't have family time, if you don't have that camaraderie and that bonding time and that outlet to figure out who you are as a person and kind of grow up that way, if you don't have that, like, it just makes life, once you get out into the real world, it just makes it so much harder.
So much tougher.
Just so much harder.
So much tougher. Family's a good support system for all that kind of stuff, man. I've touched all the basic points that I wanted to touch on. Is there anything else you'd like to leave the viewers with, or anything else you wanted to say?
Man, I think, again, man, I love what you're doing with this, man. excellent. This is just another outlet for those people that have come from Toledo, that built something. And I think we talked about this right before, is, you know, the things that I do aren't necessarily for me, you know, like I like to invest in properties and do that. But I also like the fact that my nephew and my niece and my little cousins, they're seeing me do these things, and they saw me go away, and, you know, I'm accomplishing all these things, and, you know, riding 200 miles in 2 days. They're seeing that I'm doing these things, and that just opens their eyes to what's possible. You know, I'm giving them, you know, you don't know what you don't know, but I'm giving them something that they can know. Like, I've done this, like, you can do it too. And so that's what I think a lot of people need to really refocus on. Let's give our youth, our young kids, an opportunity to see that there's more than what they've been given so far. There's more out there. There's more that we can do, and it's not as hard as you think it is. It's not as hard as you think it is. And nobody has all the right answers, and you can read as many books as you want, but, you know, at the end of the day, if you don't try, you're never gonna know. And once you try, once you actually really, really try, and you do the best you can, you'll see that all the doors will open for you. And I think that's just a huge thing. And I really just, what you're doing, what you're bringing these people in, you're talking to these fellow Toledoans, and they're doing that. They're showing everybody what you can accomplish in Toledo, what you can build in Toledo. And I think that's just another aspect and another beauty to this whole growth project that we're all on.
Awesome.
And so I just want to thank you for doing what you're doing. Keep it up, and I love to see them.
Awesome, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. And that's the whole point of this, is be able to spread that and let more people hear these kind of stories, so that they know that there's opportunities out there.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. I really do appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to tag you Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah.
Where can people find you at?
Instagram is Motivated by Josh.
Okay.
And Facebook, Josh Carmona.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'll put the links in the description. I appreciate everybody for watching the show. Take it easy, guys.
Thank you.